Alright everyone, so we have Avengers Doomsday news to go over, and because especially with Marvel that has been struggling and even with their recent box office flop of being the Fantastic Four first steps, and especially with their next team-up movie that was being Avengers Doomsday, and now that it is having the debut of Doctor Doom played by Robert Downey Jr., especially as they're currently filming, they are on set, but now, especially with the behind-the-scenes drama that is now surfacing online with Robert Downey Jr. having spoken out, and even at what's causing all this drama, especially if reshoots are about to happen, and much more. And so that's what I want to break down in this video, especially if Avengers Doomsday could be in trouble, and especially with everything Marvel's facing and so much more. And so, if you're new to this, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so I'm on any future videos. But now, let's hop into it right now. And now, if you've known anything about Avengers Doomsday for quite some time now, especially regarding all the rumors and all the leaks, and you've known that Robert Downey Jr. is making his return to the MCU to play Doctor Doom for both Doomsday and Secret Wars, and even with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four that are big important movies that have these important characters that could be a part of the next couple of Avengers movies that came out and underperformed, but especially with Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four first steps, that was supposed to set up Doctor Doom in a very big way, but sadly that underperformed. And now with Marvel's recent struggle, because with Avengers Doomsday that is currently filming, that they are on set, but now with the behind the scenes issues, and I have a feeling like this movie could be in trouble, even though that they delayed the movie until the end of next year, December 18th, 2026. But it's especially regarding if there's any reshoots about to happen, especially with Robert Downey Jr. Being in the suit and the mask, and you know that Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to be the two most expensive Marvel movies ever made. And you with this is coming from Jeff Snyder over on the Hot Mic podcast that has spoken out about Robert Downey Jr. and his issues and his rage behind the scenes, especially with Kevin Feige. And here's a quote. He said, "They had a body double and a face double, and Robert would stand outside the scene reading the lines. And apparently, after 2 or 3 weeks, he said, 'This isn't working. I want to shoot the whole thing with me in the suit.'" And then he goes on to say, "The dysfunction I've heard about on set is second only to that of the Fast and Furious movies. I mean, we mentioned a behind-the-scenes incident earlier this year that I did not want to go into detail about, and someone probably made it sound more dramatic than it actually was. But yeah, I think, again, there's a lot of testosterone and a lot of ego on that set. A lot of people who think that they know the best path. In the end, only one person's path matters, and that's actually Robert Downey Jr.'s path." Just with that quote right there, that kind of makes me nervous for what's about to happen to this movie, because especially if you look at Avengers Doomsday as a whole, they haven't been doing a great job of building up hype to this movie, because especially, I mean, the last 3 Marvel movies that came out this year in 2025 alone, they did not make profit. They underperformed. But when you look at the way that Marvel has been trying to build up hype and try to gain back the fan base, and I think for what Marvel's done over the past couple years, they've been putting out mediocre stuff, and especially with Phases 4 and 5, they've turned out to be very mixed. And if you look at their content that they've been putting out, and even though with each phase that did not end with an Avengers movie, and plus when you have Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, there's supposed to be the real hype events for Phase 6, but before that we're getting Spider-Man Brand New Day. But in terms of for what this quote is saying, that there's been a lot of rage and ego on set, especially for what Robert Downey Jr.'s demands are, because he had a stunt double and a body double, and now they're looking at reshoots. Oh, they had to start all over again, especially with the actors that they are paid to be on set, and that with more than 60 to 70 actors, these people are going to be given big paydays, especially with not only with Robert Downey Jr. but with the Russo brothers as well, and even with Kevin Feige. And I think Marvel is kind of facing some trouble, and I think Kevin Feige is probably worried out of his mind. But just with my overall thoughts and take on this, and I just think Marvel is like kind of like either they can like get this movie right, or like just they're sort of in like a desperation mode. Like they're trying to build up the hype like they did with Infinity War and Endgame, but with the way that they did it back then, that was different, and that was when the momentum kept getting bigger and bigger. But that was before Disney Plus. Now within this era alone, they've been launching like so many shows, and they made it tough to follow up with what's going on and try to feel like homework than entertainment. So that's why like I don't know if they were doing a great job, because I mean Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to be big movies. And on top of that, I also want to point out for what he did mention right here. He said the dysfunction that he heard on set is to that of the Fast and Furious movies. And if you know what he's talking about, and that is especially as this is related to with the drama between Vin Diesel and The Rock when they couldn't stand each other on set. They didn't want to film scenes together side by side. But now, in terms of this situation with Robert Downey Jr. and Kevin Feige, they have their problems, and so somehow people have ego problems, and everything is getting out of control. And just with the overall fact, even though this is just a rumor for now, but if this ends up becoming true and Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars end up becoming rushed, and I'm not sure they're not going to rush these last two movies out, but I think they're definitely going to build hype, and the Russo brothers know what they are doing, but this is an issue that is going to be occurring and every so now and then. I mean, these are two big, expensive movies that we're talking about here. Like, these aren't made like very cheap. No, these are like double the expensive amount, because especially when you look at the other Avengers movies that Marvel put out, and now related to this, and I think like they could be in big trouble. But if like everything can go smoothly, and I don't know if it ever will, I doubt that. But it's just with like everything that Robert Downey Jr. has been going through in terms of being on set, how he feels in the Doctor Doom outfit, and I don't think Doctor Doom has been set up properly for the next Avengers movies. But yeah, especially with the overall state of Marvel Studios and with the way that they've been putting out stuff, and I just think that they had to make a load of their money back, and especially if these reshoots are about to happen, and wow, they could be in for a bit of a slump here, because especially with they've been struggling with the box office numbers and everything that's going that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see from here on out. Yeah, but those are my thoughts. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments down below, and what your thoughts on all of this with Avengers Doomsday behind the scenes issues and all the chaos, and with the reshoots, and just how do you feel about all this drama? Just let me know all in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to know increase both videos. Also follow all my social media. It's all linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.